We've gotten ourselves into a really strange situation. We go through life taking everything so seriously, as if it were some huge test where one mistake could ruin everything forever. But what if I told you that this whole thing, this big story we call life, is really just a very detailed game? And like any game, once you understand how it works, you can start playing it with real skill, and maybe even with joy. Think about when you were a kid. You used to play games all the time, pretending to be cowboys, teachers, superheroes, or parents having tea parties. You played those roles with all your heart. You truly were the cowboy or the mum serving pretend cookies. But deep down, you always knew it was just play. When your mum called you for dinner, you dropped the act right away. You didn't stay stuck in the role or feel lost when the game ended. But as we grew older, we forgot how to play. We turned into what I like to call serious actors on the stage of life. We got so wrapped up in our roles that we forgot we were acting at all. We started to believe we really are the job title, the success story, the failure, or whatever part we happen to be playing. And when you forget that it's a role, the game stops being fun. It starts feeling like a cage. Now, when I say life is a game, I don't mean it's silly or unimportant. Games can matter deeply. Think of someone who plays with full focus and passion, giving it everything they've got, but still knows it's play. That's what I call having a light touch. The first and maybe most surprising rule of this big game is this: you are not who you think you are. The person with your name, your memories, your hopes and fears, that's just the part you're playing in this round. It's a role, a costume you've worn so well that you've managed to trick even yourself. But who's the real you? That's where it gets interesting. The real you is not the character. You are the one watching, the one who's aware. You're the quiet space where all the thoughts, feelings, and experiences come and go. You're like the stage on which the whole story is happening. Once you truly understand that, everything changes. You see that you've been like an actor who forgot he could take off his costume and walk off stage. Suddenly you remember, you're not stuck in the part you're playing. You can act it beautifully, give it life, and still know it's just a role. And here's another truth most people don't realize. This game doesn't have a final level or a grand trophy waiting at the end. There's no perfect win or last goal where everything's finally done. The whole meaning of the game is in playing it. We were taught to think life is a trip with an ending place, but really, it's much more like music or dancing. It's meant to be lived, not finished. You don't dance just to end up in one spot on the floor. You don't listen to a song only to reach the last note. The beauty is in the rhythm, in the movement, in the act of dancing or playing itself. But somehow, we've turned life into a competition. We rush through being kids so we can grow up. We hurry through school just to get to our jobs. We work ourselves to exhaustion so we can finally retire. And then one day, we sit still, wondering how it all passed so quickly. We were in such a hurry to reach the next thing that we completely missed the only place we ever truly were. Right here, right now. This very moment is where the game of life is always happening. Not tomorrow when you think you'll be happier, not yesterday when things seemed easier, but right here, in the present. Yet most people live like they're at a concert reading the program, trying to guess what song comes next, instead of actually listening to the music playing right now. Here's something even more amazing. This game is actually set up to work in your favor. How can that be? Because no matter what happens to you, or what part you're playing, you can't truly lose. That's because you're not just the character you think you are. You are the entire game itself. Imagine being in a dream where you're running from a scary monster. It feels so real and frightening. But when you wake up, you realize something strange. You were both the one running and the monster chasing. You were the whole dream. Life works the same way. You aren't just one small person in this big story. You are the story itself unfolding. This might sound like something out of a fairy tale, but think about it. Every person who annoys you, every problem that pushes you, every situation that tests you, they all exist inside your experience. They all appear within your awareness. In a deep way, the whole world you know is happening inside your own mind. You're not some tiny creature fighting against the universe. You are the universe, looking back at itself through your eyes. And once you understand that, you start to see the biggest joke in the universe. And it's a funny one. You stop taking everything so seriously. When someone judges you, instead of getting upset, you can smile and think, "Oh, look, here's the universe pretending to be a critic. How interesting. What's it trying to teach me?" When life throws challenges your way, instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "Why am I making this happen for me?" Because if you are the whole game, then life isn't punishing you. It's playing with you. The struggles are there to make the game more exciting. Now that doesn't mean you should stop caring or just give up. It's the opposite. When you realize it's a game, you can play it with incredible energy, focus, and joy. You can give your best move every time, but you won't fall apart if things don't go exactly as planned. You can love someone deeply, even if they don't love you back. You can chase your dreams with passion, even if they take time to grow. The key is to play lightly. It's like being a jazz musician. You know the tune, you understand the rhythm, but you're always open to improvising. You listen, you adjust, you respond to what's happening in the moment. You don't try to control the whole song or force it to follow strict rules. You move with it, laugh with it, and dance with it. Most people, though, treat life like a piece of classical music with a strict conductor. Every single note has to be perfect. Every beat must go exactly as planned. But the truth is, the best music and the best life comes from learning how to flow. There's no space left for surprise, no room for imagination. But life isn't meant to be like that. It's much more like jazz music. There's a beat, a steady rhythm, but inside that rhythm, you can play, explore, and create endless new sounds. That's what makes it alive. One of the most freeing rules of this grand game is this: you don't have to stay the same. You have no duty to keep being who you were even 5 minutes ago. The you've been showing to the world, with all your limits, worries, and habits, isn't permanent. It's just like an outfit you can change anytime you want. We waste so much time protecting our image, guarding our reputation, and holding tightly to who we think we are. But imagine if you could simply choose who to be in every moment. What if, instead of being trapped by your past, you could keep reinventing yourself, not in a wild, unstable way, but in a gentle, creative flow that lets you meet each moment fresh and new? Kids already know how to do this. 1 minute they're a princess, the next they're a dragon, and then they're zooming around as a race car driver. They don't stop to think, "Wait, I can't be that. Yesterday I was someone else." They just play. And here's something even more amazing. Every single person you meet is another version of you, wearing a different mask, acting out another part in the same story. That co-worker who annoys you, that relative who drives you crazy, that stranger who smiles at you, all of them are you, exploring what it's like to be someone else for a while. When you truly see this, kindness grows naturally. Not the kind of kindness that looks down on people, but the kind that understands we're all in this together. We're all playing roles in the same giant play. Of course, on the surface, people seem different. They have different lives, voices, and personalities. But deep down, the same light shines through everyone. The same awareness that sees through your eyes also looks through theirs. It's like we're all windows of the same house, each showing a different view, but all part of the same home. Now let's look at one of the hardest parts of the game, the part everyone struggles with sooner or later. How do you face pain? How do you keep playing when everything seems to go wrong? When life deals you a tough hand, the first thing to see is that pain and suffering are not the same thing. Pain is real and natural. When you hurt yourself, it stings. When you lose someone you love, your heart aches. These moments are part of being human. They give life its depth and shape. But suffering, that's something different. Suffering is the story we build around the pain. It's our mind saying, "This shouldn't be happening. It's unfair. It ruins everything." Pain just says, "This hurts." Suffering says, "This pain means something terrible about me or my future." Once you understand this difference, you can let yourself feel the pain honestly without adding the extra weight of suffering. You can feel sadness fully without the story that you should be happy instead. You can face hard times without telling yourself the story that you're a victim. You can deal with problems without adding the idea that your life is ruined. Think of it like the weather. Sometimes the sky is bright and sunny, and other times it's stormy and grey. But the sky never fights the rain or tries to hold on to the sunshine. It just allows each kind of weather to come and go. You can treat your own emotions the same way. Sometimes you'll feel happy, sometimes you'll feel sad. Sometimes things will be confusing, and sometimes everything will make sense. None of these feelings last forever. They're just passing clouds moving through the sky of your mind. Here's another rule for this big game of life, one that can save you a lot of energy. You don't need to have an opinion about everything. You don't have to decide if something is good or bad, right or wrong. Sometimes it's enough to simply notice and say, "That's interesting," and leave it there. We've been taught to judge everything all the time, to always think about whether we like or dislike what's happening. But this constant judging wears us out. It's like being a movie critic who can't relax and enjoy the film because they're too busy writing reviews in their head. Sometimes you can just watch, just feel, just be present without trying to label everything. A wise player learns to hold opinions lightly. They can have likes and dislikes, but they don't cling to them. They can enjoy their favorite meal and still be okay when it's not on the table. The second you think you've got everything under control, life throws in a surprise twist. The moment you settle too deeply into your role, something shifts and you're invited to play a new part. Instead of fighting these surprises, you can welcome them. They're what keep the game fun. Imagine playing chess with someone who always made the same moves, or watching a story where you already know every scene. That would get dull fast. It's the surprises, the sudden turns, the moments you didn't expect that make life exciting. When you stop trying to manage every single detail, when you begin to enjoy surprises instead of fearing them, life turns into a fascinating mystery instead of a long list of frustrations. And here's one of the greatest truths about this whole game. There are no real mistakes, only experiences. What you call failures are just trials that didn't turn out the way you thought they would. What you call success is simply an experiment that worked better than you expected. But in the end, they're all just steps in the big experiment of being alive. A baby who's learning to walk doesn't call it failure when they fall down. But as adults, we think we should get everything right the first time. We see every mistake as proof that something's wrong with us, instead of recognizing it as a normal part of learning. We carry the weight of every stumble like it's a judgment. But what if you could look at your whole life the way a baby looks at learning to walk? Curious, patient, unafraid to fall. What if every mistake was just a message, every failure just a clue? Imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped punishing yourself for not being perfect. And here's another secret about this game. The best players often look like they're barely trying. They move through life smoothly and calmly, not because they don't care, but because they've learned how to flow with things instead of fighting them. It's the difference between trying to swim against a strong current and simply floating with it, letting the river carry you forward. Both ways need practice, but one makes you tired while the other fills you with energy. When you learn how life moves, when you start to notice its hidden rhythms, you can do much more without wearing yourself out. This doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means being smart about when to move and when to rest, when to push forward and when to let things flow on their own. It's like what the Chinese call wu wei, which doesn't mean doing nothing, but rather acting in perfect harmony with the moment. It's like how water moves around stones in a river. The water doesn't try to fight the rocks. It simply finds a way around them. Yet over time, that same soft water can shape even the hardest stone. That's the quiet power of gentleness, the soft touch that often solves what force cannot. The wise player knows that fighting isn't always the best way to handle challenges. Another part of mastering this great game is learning to wear many hats without losing your true self underneath them. Each role has its own outfit, its own mood, its own kind of energy. The skilled player moves from one to another with ease. They can be firm during a business deal and loving when speaking to their kids. They can learn in one moment and teach in the next. They don't trap themselves in one identity. Many people think being real means staying the same all the time. But true honesty is about fitting each moment, each relationship, each scene in life. It's like being a talented actor who can play many parts because they understand the deeper truth behind every role. Now, here's one of the biggest discoveries you can make. The rules of the game aren't fixed. They shift and bend depending on how you choose to play. That's what makes life so magical. Most games have rules everyone must follow, but life is more like a shared story that changes as you tell it. Your thoughts, your attitude, and how you act all shape how the story unfolds. If you walk through life afraid and distrustful, you'll meet situations that feed your fears. But if you walk with curiosity and an open heart, you'll find adventures and chances waiting for you. If you play the victim, you'll meet people who act like villains. But if you play the hero, you'll uncover your own bravery and imagination. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's the truth that your awareness helps shape what happens. You aren't just watching the world, you're co-creating it. What you notice, what you focus on, and what you choose all help write the story of your life. Here's something beautiful about this game. Everyone can win. Not by making others lose, but by lifting everyone higher. When you feel truly happy, you don't spread sadness, you awaken happiness in others. When you're peaceful, you don't cause fights, you help others find calm too. When you are real, you make others feel safe to be real as well. That's why the wise players seem to be playing a different game. They're not competing, not chasing trophies, not keeping score. They're just playing for the pure joy of it. And somehow, everyone around them starts playing better too. Now let me share the final rule, maybe the greatest one. The game never ends. What we call death is just changing costumes, changing roles, moving to a new stage. The real you, the quiet awareness watching it all, keeps on going. Once you understand that, your fear fades. You stop clinging so tightly to your current part. You stop being so afraid of change. You realize that you aren't just in the game, you are the game itself, discovering what it means to be alive through endless stories and forms. And so we reach the end of this little journey together. Though there was never a true end or beginning, there is only this moment, this forever now, this grand play of life, exploring itself through everything and everyone. The next time you catch yourself taking things too seriously, remember this: you are not a lost person fighting against the world. You are the world pretending to be one person for a while, pretending to struggle, to win, to fail, to rise again. It's all a dance, a song, a cosmic game of wonder. So play wisely, play with joy, play with lightness, knowing it's all part of one beautiful, endless story. And remember, everybody gets to win because everyone is connected. You are everyone and everyone is you. The game never ends, it only changes shape. And what a wonderful, ever-changing game it is.